All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I thought I would hop on for just a little bit of a shorty episode, and we're talking all things about being organized at home when you are baking and decorating large volume orders. So, whether you are a food cottage baker or whether you have a commercially state licensed bakery attached to your residence, this is going to be really helpful to you. Now, if you're in my Facebook group called Cookie Decorating Hobby to Business Made Simple, if you're not, I welcome you to join us there. But recently I posted and I have a photo album that is titled Large Volume Orders. And so every once in a while, I'll give a little sneak preview into what my team and I are working on. We use a large whiteboard in the bakery to track our progress on cutting, baking, and decorating these large volume orders. And if you're not familiar with me, my name is Annette Conrad, and I'm the owner and lead creative for a company called Edible Impressions. So I started my nationwide growing business from a hobby. So I've been in your shoes if you are right now a cookie hobbyist, or perhaps you are transitioning into a full-time position or part-time position with decorating cookies for business, you're in the right place. So going back to the Facebook group, so I like to share a little bit of the behind the scenes so that you can see how we are organizing ourselves for these large orders, because it is very easy to get overwhelmed, especially when you're working in a small space. Now, most of us that are working out of a home kitchen or even a commercial state licensed bakery like I am, that's attached, is a dedicated space, but it is also very small. So I always say we are a small space, but big operation. And it is crazy the number of cookies that we are pumping out from our bakery. So the first thing you want to think about is organizing your team. So you might be a solo entrepreneur, but if you take it on a large order, it might be time to ask for help. Now, asking for help and 10 indicators of when you should hire your first employee is going to be another topic for another day. In fact, I do have a masterclass that I did on that. So if you are interested, just DM me and I'll send you the link for that. But it's going to be really important to identify who's going to help you with this. Now, please learn from me, because for many, many years, I was a solopreneur. I thought I had to do everything myself. I thought, well, they're handmade cookies. They need to be made with my hands, which is so not true. So definitely think about who can help you. Now, if you don't want someone to help you with the actual decorating, there are so many other steps in the process that someone can help you with. So whether it is shopping, whether it is making the dough, or maybe baking, or preparing the bags. Maybe you need stickers on bags. Maybe you need ribbon cut. There are so many areas of opportunity that, again, you don't have to have your hands actually do them. And the other thing that's really important, and this is what I do, is I have a core team of folks that help me in the bakery. And then I have a handful of folks that I can call upon when we get these large orders. Now, we just wrapped up one order for a large company here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So you know where I'm tuning in from. 6,750 cookies. Now, please, I know if you're a home decorator going, what? That is crazy. How did you possibly do that? Now, understand there was some strategy behind this order with the volume and the packaging and the presentation. So again, topic for another day, but just understand that yes, it is high volume, but it was a very simple design. So it was large volume, simple packaging. And so it's not as scary as it sounds. Okay. Yes, it was a big feat. Don't get me wrong. And it was a lot of dough, but we were not hand frosting each cookie with, let's say, multiple colors or with complexity. Okay. So now what I did is when I brought on my team, before they agreed, I kind of laid out the foundation and kind of said, this is what is on the docket. Are you interested? This is where I could use some support. We looked at the schedule. I advanced planned for 3 weeks to kind of roll out, because this large order that we were working on was not the only order that was in the works. So in between doing this large order, we were working on other orders. So it's really important so that your team members know how to pivot and when to pivot so that we can get all these orders done in a timely basis. Okay. So, and it really is important. I know that I'm kind of the one that takes the orders, and so sometimes it's like, oh no, what have I done? But I don't take on orders I know my team and I cannot handle. I've been in this business long enough that I know what our limits are. And I have in the past have said no to some really profitable orders because I know it was going to overextend my team and myself personally. So again, yet another topic for another day. So, okay. And then some other key strategies really quickly here. this is supposed to be a shorty episode, is just understanding how to, track your orders, how to, make sure that they're ready to go, that they're accurate, that you've double checked before you dive in. So make sure you know what the color scheme is. You make sure you know what the ultimate final design is going to be. I do put visuals up for my team so they also know what the end result is going to look like. So they're not really going into the project blind. And so then to be productive, what we're going to do is, again, we use that big whiteboard. And if you want to see a picture of the whiteboard that I'm talking about with all the little boxes and all the little check marks, go to Facebook. Again, the Facebook group, if you're not already a member, it is free. It's a cookie decorating hobby to business made simple. Again, my name is Annette Conrad. You can also visit me on my website, AnnetteConrad.com. I do have some free resources and some really low cost digital products as well. But go ahead and take a look at that so you can get a visual of what I'm talking about. So what I did is I looked at all the orders and I took the bigger of the orders and I put them on the board and I broke it down. Now, one of my favorite books is called Atomic Habits. It is a fantastic book. The core message of the book is to break a large project down into small bite-sized pieces. So that's exactly what I do with these large orders. So it's not scary and not intimidating. And it's just like, that with every little step, every check mark, you're going to get to that final goal. So that's been a really good strategy for my team and I to use that board and to cross off. Now, I'm never the one to cross off. I always let my team cross off those boxes because it is a good feeling when we are cutting out, 6,750 cookies. Does anyone want to guess how many trays? 72 cookies per tray. That is a whopping 94 and a couple extra just to be safe trays, 94. And again, that was the one single order. Okay. So that a couple other things real quick is you want to do batching. So what we did is there were 3 colors. We knew that we were going to need a lot of frosting. So we made one full batch, and one of our large batches of frosting is 3 cups of meringue, just to kind of give you an idea. This job took a batch and a half per color. So again, not making small batches as we go. We just went all in. I kind of estimated how much we would need. So that eliminated having to make the color more than once. And I was also very strategic when I was working with my client to make sure that it was an easy color to make right out of the bottle. Because what you don't want to do is get halfway through a job, run out of frosting, and all of a sudden you have to match it. And we know how tricky it can be matching edible frosting and edible ink, especially when you're using that color gel. Okay, and then again, just being visual, having that production schedule out in front, and then really, I just want to say that celebrate the while you're in the project. So celebrate. We will get up and do a happy dance after we've hit a milestone of trays. And so there's lots of things that you can do to keep the motivation going, keep your team, working at a fairly fast pace, knowing that when we need to stop, knowing when you need to stop and take a break and stretch, because I know that after that big job, and of course, going to work out and then going bowling, which probably wasn't a really good mix because my neck was hurting a little bit. I think it wasn't necessarily the decorating, but I think it was the combination of all those things in a couple days that really kind of caught up with me. So now, I've taken a couple of days off from working out. Not that, I really don't want to, but I know that it's going to be better for me and my business if I also take care of myself. So if you're starting to feel a little bit of pain, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but make sure that you're also taking care of yourself and you're taking breaks while you're working on these large orders. And then finally, one last thing I didn't mention is you want to make sure that you are purchasing your supplies, you're organizing them, you're labeling things in advance, you're setting all the things that you need aside so that you don't have that scare of, oh my gosh, we're out of meringue powder, or oh my gosh, I don't have enough bags for this order. So a lot of that can be done well in advance before you cut out even that first cookie. So you can bet with the 375 bags, which really for us, it's not that many bags, but there was a specific ingredient label and there was also a branded sticker on the front. All that was done well in advance, again, before we cut out that very first cookie. So, okay, so for whatever it's worth, just to kind of give you a little sneak preview behind the scenes on how we manage our large volume orders, I do welcome you to reach out to me. I love to chat, as you can tell. Never a dull moment, of course, in the cookie world. So please reach out to me via DM, send me a message or a question via the contact page at AnnetteConrad.com, and join us in the Facebook community. We're having a great time there, and there's lots of really good conversations. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I'm happy to help. All right, folks. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.